Hey Stampers, it's Judy Clock here at Stampin' with Crafty Clock, and coming to you today with a pre-recorded at lunch. My husband and I decided to take a quick little getaway in the RV for a couple of days. So I did this before we left, and I hope that you enjoy what I'm going to show you today. So craft fair season is coming up, the end of the year. You might need some teacher gifts or just a little something for your coworkers in the office. So I'm going to show you this great little easel fold calendar that is also like a little memo pad. We've got one of those little 3x3 post-it note squares on there. So it's real simple to make, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So there's no stamping involved in this one. Now you can get as fancy as you want, but I'm using the Pattern Play Designer Series paper. This is a hostess only item, but it's beautiful paper. There's colors on one side and black and white on the other, and I just thought this was going to be a real pretty one to use with limited stamping in there. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a piece of 11 by 4 1/4. I scored it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2, and then we're going to fold it into like a Z fold. Okay, that's how we want to get that to go there. Then I've got a piece of our basic black. This is 5 1/2 by 4. It's actually a hair less than 5 1/2, maybe like 5 7/16. Just because if you want to fold it in this way for mailing, that will allow that to fold completely flat. Or you could just fold it this way. And this will fit into one of our regular envelopes. So it just decides to, if you fold it like this, there's not as much overlap between the calendar and the memo pad, so it might be a little bit easier for mailing. And then you can also, of course, decorate this side if you so desire. But if you're going to send it like that, there you have, you're all ready to go. And then we need a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. I left that over on my other work table, so I had to go run and get that. I've got a piece of that beautiful Designer Series paper that is 4 by 5 1/4. And again, this is the Pattern Play. It is a hostess only item. I've got these great little tear-off calendars, and I bought these on Tailored Expressions. And they come in packs of 10, and they're relatively inexpensive, maybe somewhere between $3 and $5 for a pack of 10, so tailoredexpressions.com. Then I've got a piece of our polished pink. I'm sorry, this is polished pink. This is 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. And then this is a little bit bigger. So this is 2 5/8 by 3 3/8. So just a little bit bigger. So just a little bit of that basic black will peek through. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to adhere my basic black to this part of the polished pink because we want that to be freestanding. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, well, first let me just crease all my folds with my paper bone, get those nice and crisp. So I'm going to just put some Stampin' Seal on this piece of my cardstock. And then we're going to just line up this basic black and just have all of our edges even. Okay, so that's going to create the easel part. Now to that, I'm going to add a piece of our Designer Series paper, and I'm going to color some of these flowers with our Stampin' Blends. I used the polished pink stamping blends. We're keeping everything in our polished pink and our basic black. I just love the way black and pink play off each other. It's one of my favorite color combinations, and I didn't put that on there very straight, but that's okay. So I'm just going to grab my light polished pink, and I'm just going to quickly just color some of these flowers because you want to color them before you put the calendar on there. I'm not going to color many, like maybe 5, not all full ones. Some of them will be the ones off the edges, because don't forget, our little calendar is going to take up the bottom portion of this, so we don't need to color too many down there. Maybe color this one. And again, these go really quickly with our Stampin' Blends, and because they're alcohol based, they're very they're very responsive to the touch, so you don't need to press very hard. Just sort of skim them over the paper and you'll get that gorgeous color. Now, if you want to go get a deeper color, you can just color kind of over where you've already colored, and that will deepen that color. And we're going to come back in and create some shadows with our dark polished pink Stampin' Blends. I'm going to color kind of some of those stems in the middle. And then we're done. We're going to brush a little bit of Wink of Stella over it to just give it that little bit of sparkle. Okay, so I think we're going pretty good. Maybe just this one down here. I'm just trying to get them all kind of random, just to kind of color. And again, this one will probably be cut off by our thing, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll just do this one down here. Again, a lot of this will be cut off by our calendar, but that's okay. And after you put the calendar on, if you decide you want to do a little bit more, you can always go back. Maybe we'll do just this one over here, kind of give it a little bit more in that area. Okay, let's go ahead and take our dark polished pink, and we're just going to very quickly kind of go over those inside leaves. Well, not really leaves, they're like lines. And we're just going to do that to sort of create some depth to our flower. Okay, just adding a little bit of contrast and interest. See, it goes quick. Doesn't really take a long time when you're doing the stamping blends. So I hope everyone is having a good week so far. Been a little bit rainy here in Virginia, but hopefully the rain is good for us. We could use a little bit. The days have just been glorious. They're absolutely gorgeous, temperature-wise. Okay, now let's go brush some of our Wink of Stella on these. And again, if you've ever used Wink of Stella, when you go to press it, you don't want to press it over your card. You want to press it over a piece of scrap paper to make sure, if I can get it out, you want to do it on a piece of scrap paper to make sure that you've got something coming out. Ask me how I know. I've done it over my card and have ruined cards by getting a big blob of Wink of Stella coming out on the card. So always do your squeeze over a piece of test. Oh, see, I did it over the test and it still came out in a big blob. Yikes. All right, that, I think this Wink of Stella might be done. Let's grab a different one, and let's grab a paper towel if I can find them and blot that up. See, a perfect example of what I was just saying about how it comes out in a big blob sometimes. So we might have to put our calendar up a little bit higher to get it. Oh my goodness, none of my Wink of Stellas are really cooperating today. There we go. That one looks better. I think we've salvaged that. So I might be putting my calendar up a little bit higher than I wanted to help cover up some of this horrible little flower. Okay, so now I have my my cardstock that I've told you. So again, this one is 2.5 by 3 1/4. This is 2 7/8 by 3 3/8. So just a little tiny bit of that black will peek out from underneath the pink. Now this I am going to use some liquid glue. I really want to make sure I hold it onto my cardstock because people are going to be ripping off the months. And you don't want them to rip off, I don't know, say March and have the whole calendar come off. So you can use liquid glue or you can use tear and tape, but a very strong adhesive to make sure that's going to stay on there. Now, oh, perfect. That's going to cover up our bobbled flower. How perfect is that? And again, we're going to use our liquid glue to make sure that so our ruined flower will not impact our card. Yay! Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this basic white in here. And that's if you want to use it as a card. You can still write a little note up on the top. And you can see I actually had done some gold paw prints on this, but I didn't need it. It was an extra. So you just flip it over and there you can put it on this. And you can still use that. All right, we're going to go ahead and put in our post notes. Make sure when you do it that the glue top is at the top, because that's how people are probably going to expect it to be, so they can rip it off. And this was actually one larger pad, and I just kind of divided it in two. So, because it was a little too thick. If you wanted to, you could probably even divide it in three. That's your choice. But there you have it. There you have your easel fold calendar post-it note little gift that you can use to give to really anyone. Change up the colors. It could be suitable for a guy. You can add fun things. It could be suitable for a child. So that's it for this edition of Live at Lunch. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you all next week. Bye.